הוא גם יכול לעשות את זה.
נכון. לדבר איתו. בינתיים תיקח עכשיו, אז לדבר איתו. בינתיים תיקח עכשיו. אוקיי.
Yeshiva. You hear me? Yeah.
Okay. This thing came here. We'll start Tosfot bepruto b'shov bepruto. The Mishnah says a woman gets acquired בכסף. The Mishnah says בכסף beishamay b'dino b'shvei dino. Beishamay hold get married b'dina and shvei dina. What is the dinar? How much is a dinar? The dinar was those days their money, and a dinar had 4 slaim, 24 ma'ot, 98 prutot, 96 prutot. So just numbers rather than one to another. But what does that mean? Money of those days. 1 dinar, I don't know. I cannot tell you exactly because I'm in those days. Yes. Dinar is a lot of money, yes.
Very, very hard.
We're going to go through B'ezrat Hashem now. B'ezrat Hashem, if you follow through, you'll understand it. Are you still learning with Rabbi every day?
Yeah.
Good, I'm happy. It's going well? Good. So let's see now the Tosfot. So when the Mishnah says, B'shama hold Bedino Shvedino, and Beis Hillel say Bepruto B'shov Bepruto. And the Mishnah goes on, B'kama Pruto, how much is a Pruto? Echol Mishmoyne B'Isar Italki. 1/8 of the Italian Isar. Italian Isar was made out of silver. And the silver coin of Italy, Isar, you were able to buy it with 8 copper coin, 8 prutot. So, pruta is 1/8 of the silver coin called Isar Italki. And dinar, as I said, is 96. Let's see, it's more enough, page 12. 96 or 90, Kuf Tzadik Beis, sorry. Kuf Tzadik Beis is 192. 192 prutot and 1 dinar. Okay? Katzav. Kuf Tzadik Beis, 192 prutot is in 1 dinar. Okay? 8 prutot less than 200. Kuf Tzadik Beis, Katzav, okay? 192. Anyhow, so pruto was the smallest amount of money, and 192 pruto was 1 dinar. So probably was a lot of money. No. Dinar, I don't know. Dinar was probably 200 shekels of today. Nowadays, I believe. What? There was also dinar called dinar zahav. Yes. Dinar could be the zahav, and here means silver. Every dinar zahav had 25 slaim. 25 slaim, and every 4 slaim was 1 dinar kesef. So in how many 4 there is in 25, 24, 25 is 5, 6. 6 dinarei kesef was 1 gold coin. Okay? So there was a dinar zahav. Dinar zahav was worth 24, 25, depends. They added a strus, 20 or 24. but let's say the final end is 24 dinarim is in dinar zahav. Okay, there's 44 slaim, and every 4 slaim is 1 dinar of silver, and every dinar of silver was 192 prutot katzav, 192 prutot for 1 dinar. Okay, 192. So according to Bet Shammai, you need to pay for a woman 192 times more. What for? What for dinar? I don't know. I have no idea. If you want to see the exact value, you go to the Rambam. According to the Rambam, you take a pruto as a chatzisora kesef, as half of the size of a barley of silver. You take a barley grain and you made out of it silver, right? That size, silver, and you cut it to half. Chatzisora kesef tzaruf. Half of a barley size of silver, of pure silver, is pruta, and 192 times. Right. Because it says 1/8 of Israel Italki is Kesef. And Dino is definitely Kesef. Probably. Tosfos. Bepruto, beshove pruto. Tema, wonder. The law afelei lemitnei elo b'shaveh pruto kedesnan be'azor. Toys has a wonder. You know the word tema? Tema is a strong question. A wonder. It's not kosher, not vim toima. Tema is a strong, it's a strong language of a big wonder, big question. Tema, the law of mitne ela b'shaveh pruto. The Mishnah shouldn't have written only shaveh pruto, the value of pruto, as we find in Bom Metzia. Kedesnan be'azov in Bom Metzia, the 4th chapter, Daf Nun Hei Amud Aleph, it says in the Mishnah there, Chamisha pruto isen. There are 4 prutot in the Torah. If you search in the Torah, you make a Google search, a rabbinic search, Mishnaic search. The Mishnah says, Chamisha pruto isen. There are 5 prutot in different things in the laws of the Torah. For example, our ido, shaveh pruto. In order for a person to be obligated shvuah, he needs to admit shaveh pruto. Let's say you demand me a pruto and I admit half a pruto, I don't take an oath. You demand 2 prutos and I admit I'm 1 pruto, so then I need to take a shvuah of moed mikzas. The ido has to be shaveh pruto, not less. Va'isha miskadeshes, and the woman gets engaged, Kiddushin, b'shaveh pruto, the value of pruto. So we see there that the Mishnah Mometzia mentions shaveh pruto, doesn't say pruto. So it should have said shaveh pruto, and that's it. It includes everything.
What difference here? Why you say thing? Not a term.
Tema. The Mishnah shouldn't have mentioned only shaveh pruto like it says in Azor. What really is Toys's kasha? Now ask even more. Why Toys's didn't ask this question to Beis Shammai? Oh, this is the point. Why the Mishnah did not ask this question according to Beis Shammai? Well, I mean, why Toys's? Didn't ask, Tema should have mentioned shaveh dina. Why the kasha is only according to Beis Hillel? Because we found a Mishnah that says shaveh pruto? Or there's something in Beis Hillel that causes us to understand that there's no such thing pruta. Since pruta is made out of copper and not silver, not kesef, plata, no plata, right? No plata is not a silver, it's copper. Bronza, copper. I don't know bronza is copper, but copper. So it's already shve kesef, shve pruta. So it should have written only shve pruta.
So the kasha cannot be this the kasha. So must be the kasha different.
Teima, the law of Elimid, the shve pruta. You should have written only shve pruta like it says in Azov. And why? What's the logic behind it? Because the pruta is not in it doesn't say pruta in the Torah. Because pruta is made out of copper. So pruta is not kesef. And maybe it's the value of kesef. So to start with, pruta is not it. It should have mentioned just shove pruta. If you have the papers, I gave out the papers. People have the papers. You have the papers. Open the paper. Let's read the Ritva. Look how the Ritva represents the question. The Ritva. בכסף Beis Shammai אומרים דינור ושווה דינור. ובייס הלל אומרים בפרוטו שווה פרוטו. So he says, there's no papers there? Here, you have one paper here. You need to have. Anyone doesn't have should come to me. I have one extra the first page. Who needs it? You have? Daniel, you have? So come over. You're not involved? Be involved. Come on. בכסף, בישמה יומים, בדינו ושבדינו, ובסילו ומפוטו שבפוטו. בגמור מפורש במאי פליגי. The Gemara on page 12 explains what's the machlokes. Comes the read when he says, "Ubedin hu," what's bedin? From the law, from the proper rules. The law absolutely beisilo mitte bepruto. Beisilo should not written the word pruto. No, I just gave it out. Finish. I had one I gave out. Finito. Behold, behold, a law in the Torah, in the written Torah, Kesef Ksiv. It's written the word Kesef. What does Kesef mean? Silver. Vesvire lule beisila. And beisila hold the lav Kesef mamash. You don't need Kesef mamash. Ela mamon, rather money, dainu shve pruto, which means shve pruto. The came of the kin sin so. Pruto atzmo shil nechoishes. The pruto itself, which is made out of copper, ainu shve pruto means the value of pruto, atzmo itself. But lav Kesef is not silver. So why it says the word pruto and shve pruto? Ela ay dilektoni beishama and bedino, the loisagbe larochi. Since Beishamai says the word dino, dino means silver, silver coin. So therefore you cannot say shved dino, you have to say first silver, because the Torah wrote silver. It should tell you which value of silver. The came on the Ktoni Bekesef, Toni Beisilel. So it talks about dino means kesef silver. Tonanami Beisilel Bepruto. Also by Beisilel as a rhymes better, to remember better. They wrote Pruto B'Shve Pruto. But really, Pruto itself is already Shove Pruto, because Pruto is copper, and the Torah says silver. So Pruto means the value of silver. But you have to, according to Beisil, they hold that silver doesn't mean silver like Beishamai. Silver means copper. It means even the value. So to start with, Pruto is the value of the silver. So you don't have to say Pruto and Shove Pruto, you just say the value of Pruto. Capish? So that's probably what Tosfot is asking. Let's go back to Tosfot. Tosfot says, Tema, wonder. The law according to Beisilel, it shouldn't have written only the word Shove Pruto. Why Tosfot didn't ask this question by Beishamai? Because by Beishamai, dino is silver. So it is. You have to say Kesef of the Torah, which is dino, and shved dino is the value of Kesef. But by Beisilel, when he say Pruto is not Kesef, and Shve Pruto is Shove Kesef, no. Pruto means Shve Kesef to start with, because Pruto is made out of copper. And copper, that copper is the value of the silver. So the law of Inel Shove Pruto, as we found in the Mishnah, Kedadam Bazor, Kamisha Pruto is in Aidor Shove Pruto, Vaishim Shove Pruto. We found also in the Mishnah in Azor, you say a woman gets engaged, Shove Pruto, because there's no such thing Pruto. Pruto is not Kesef, Pruto is silver. So to start with, we talk about the value. Yes. Yes. But if shouldn't have written the word Pruto. So what the Ritva answers, ID. What does the word ID mean? Yonatan. What does ID mean? ID how? Since already says by Beishamai, the word, so such a word, Dino Shvedino, so in order to rhyme well and to remember the people should learn the Mishnah by heart, so they also wrote by Beisilel the word Pruto and Shove Pruto. But really, Pruto itself is already Shove Pruto. It's already Shove Kesef already. Understand? This is the Ritva's answer. Let's see what Tosfot says. V'yashloima, there is the answer. Mishum detana kan bekesef. And the Mishnah says, Aisho niknes b'shol drochim niknes bekesef. And then the Mishnah starts saying again the word Bekesef, which means the goal of the Mishnah explain the word Kesef. Umishum the Tanakan Bekesef. If you look in the structure of the Mishnah says a woman gets engaged, silver, document, and cohabitation, and it goes on to explain Bekesef. How do I do Kesef? Beisham I only deal with it. So now we're dealing with the word Kesef. Meforesh beize kesef. It starts explaining what kind of silver. Dinar lebeishamai. The value of kesef has to be the value of dinar, which is 192 katzav, 192 prutot. Upruto lebeisilel. And the value according to beisilel is only a pruto. Stop. What is he answering? He's saying the word pruta is not coming to explain silver or value of silver. The word pruta in dinar comes to explain the amount. The amount. Here's the word amount. Equivalent amount of how much kesef. Which type of kesef? Dinar lebeishamai, upruta b'lesilel. Again. So when the Mishnah said the word pruta, it's not explaining kesef and shveh kesef, because pruta itself is shveh kesef, because pruta is copper. He's saying no. Since the Mishnah said kesef, and the Mishnah starts explaining, but kesef, how much kesef, how much, como, in Spanish, como, cuánto, cuánto, what's the quantity, cuánto? It tells you, dinar lebeisham, pruta lebesilel. We're not explaining, we're not busy with silver and value of silver. What is kesef? So why we said the word shveh pruta? Ulefi, and according to, shaloinit eloim, I shouldn't mistake in saying kesef dafka. Shouldn't be mistaking and say silver specifically. Velo shveh kesef, and not value of kesef. Why? He says why. One second. He says, he speaks. Is there for it. How do we know kesef in the Mishnah? How do we know a woman gets married with kesef? They learn it from Exera Shova, the word kicha, from the Ephron, from the field of Ephron. The chesiv bekesef. Since, how do I know kesef? How do I know a woman gets engaged in kesef? We learn it from Exera Shova. It says the word kika chishisha. When a man takes a woman, means engagement. Takes her. And it said the same word yikach also by Avram Avinu when he bought the fields to bury his wife Sori Meinu, says he took the field from Ephron. How did he take it? With 400 silver coins of El Socher that passes to the market, to the merchants. So it says there, take means with money. Also here when it says take a woman, when a man takes a woman, the word take, the take means kesef. So as the Sibbe says in the Torah, ikach means ikach in kesef, because we look at Zeroshove from taking land. So since the Torah said kesef, so you shouldn't mistake it to say only kesef. Meforesh be kesef, it tells you also value of kesef. Again, what really Tosfot answered? Tosfot has a whole different way than the Ritva. The Ritva said really why we say pruto shove pruto is only ID, agav. By the way of Beis Shammai's words, the Shammai say dinar is silver, say shveh dinar means the value of silver. Beis Hillel want to say also pruto shove pruto, but really pruto itself, which is copper, the ready value of silver. That's the Ritva. The Tosfot says no. When the Mishnah says dinar and pruto, they were not talking about silver or value of silver. They were talking about quanto. How much? Beis Shammai say dinar and Beis pruto. We're talking about the quanto, the quantity. We're not talking about the type. The subject matter is not the type, It's not sug. It's not the sug and mean. Is kamus. What's the word kamus? Quantity. Misham I say dinar, Isili Pruta, that's a quantity. No. No, means the quantity of kesef. He's not talking about which material, but the quantity. Now we have a different problem. Since we learned kesef by a woman from therefore there's the word kesef, silver, don't make a mistake, is only silver and not other material, not value of silver. So they say, when I said copper, I already revealed to you that I don't need, when I say pruto means it's copper, I already revealed to you that I don't need silver. That's not true. Because when I said the word pruto, I didn't mean the copper pruto. I meant the value of pruto. Because I said como, the quantity, the how much. What? The equivalent of pruto. I didn't talk about physical pruto. I talked about the equivalent of pruto. How much silver? Silver of dina or silver of a quantity of pruto? And by the way, how much is the quantity of silver in pruto? Rambam says we have a Kabbalah from the Goinim is chatzi soiro kesef. It's a half of a size of a barley of pure silver. So the Mishnah is talking about what, Yonatan? Quantity, right? Not material, not sug and min, not type, not talking about the type. Once I talked about the quantity, so when I said the word copper, when I said the word pruto, I didn't talk about the copper of it, I talked about the value, the quantity of it. Now I would think kesef means only silver, not value of silver. So the Mishnah says shove pruto, like shove dino. What? No, because I was saying only shove pruto. I'm not answering the quantity. Camus. We're talking about the camus. Talking about how much silver. Dinar camus of silver or pruto camus of silver. That's Israel or Kesef or Kesef the amount of dinar, which is a 95 soiros. What? Oh, so why Rashi meant to say pruto shel nechoshes? Yeah. But if the point the word pruto does not come and tell you the type, come tell you pruto means the value. It's Marshal of Rashi. That's not like Tosfot. So according to Tosfot, the word pruto in the Mishnah is not coming to tell you type. It's come to tell you kamut, quantity, quanto, value, how much. So Rashi says no, pruto shel nechoshes. He said italki shel kesef. What? Or not? Because according to Tosfos, when I said the word pruto, I'm not talking about the sug and mean, which sug of the nechoshes or kesef. I'm talking about the kamus of the nechoshes do I need, the kesef that I need. Now don't mistake only kesef and not shove kesef because it's the kirikicho. Then it tells you shve pruto. Right. What? Yeah, but when I said the word pruto by Beishama, by Beisila, and Dino by Beishama, we were talking about kamus, or we talking about to tell you the point kesef shvei kesef. What was the subject? Subject of the Mishnah was kesef shvei kesef, or the subject of the Mishnah was the kamus. According to the Ritva we learned before you weren't here, the Ritva saying talk about the mean, the sug. And according to Tosfos, talk about kamus. Vim toima. Continue on in Tosfos. These Tosfos you have to follow me because it's a little bit complicated. There are a lot of parts to it, so you have to follow every point I go. Vim toima. Obviously. Vim toima. We talked about this here. Talk about their understanding. Obviously. Good. Nim toima. Nim toima. If Tesha would say my pshat is right, your pshat is wrong, so they're making a value judgment of what pshat it is. They're just saying they're understanding in places. We don't know yet what forced them to say A not B. We'll see. When we do a little bit more than Toises, we're able to go through it and try to figure out what they say. Vim toima. I'm reading now the third line in Tosfot. Vim toima. And if you're going to ask, uminolo the shvei kesef kekesef. How do we know that the value of silver is like silver? What? No, Toisa says quantity, and then he says, why we said Shabbat Pluto, don't make a mistake that when it says in the Torah Kesef, we don't get from there when it says Kesef, maybe silver specifically, and not value of silver. The Mishnah says, also Shvei Kesef, but how do we know that? The Mishnah tells me that Shvei Pluto also is good, but how the Mishnah knows that? Why not? Why not? Why not? The whole Kamon, that behold, we see later on page 16a. Mi boy lekro, the Gemara there requires a verse. Gabe Eved Ivri, reference to Eved Ivri. Yoshiv leraboy shvekesef kekesef. It says the word Yashiv Gulato. He will give back his redemption. A slave is being bought, and how he gets Geula. What is Geula? We waiting for the Geula. Redemption. So it says Yashiv Gulato. It says Kesef Yashiv Gulato. Kesef will bring back his redemption. Money will bring back his redemption. I like that, right? I'm joking. It says money will redeem Kesef Yashiv Gulato. It says the word Kesef, silver, will bring back his redemption. But the word Yashiv comes to tell you there will be many types of bringing back. So the Gemara is extra the word Yashiv. It's extra. And we learn it from it. By a Jewish slave. Yashiv lerabot, the word Yashiv will bring back lerabot to superfluous. Shve kesef kekesef. That the value of silver is like silver. That by Eved Ivri, he can have his redemption not only with silver, also with value of silver. Both can redeem it. But what do we see? We see that without the verse, I won't know that the value of silver is like silver. Since I need a verse by Eved Ivri. Also by a woman. When I want to make Kaddish a woman, I need a verse to tell me that Shvekesef Kekesef. So how the Mishnah just says blank? Pruto, Shobe Pruto, that Shobe Pruto also, the value of Pruto, value of Kesef is also, I don't need silver, is enough. Shve Pruto means enough, even the value of Pruto of copper. Inside, Pruto means the amount of silver. And it says Shobe Pruto means the value of the amount of silver is also good. To copper. How do we know that? We've seen in a verse by redemption of an Ivri. Yoshiv Gulos, Kesef Yoshiv Gulos, so the word Yashiv comes the word, the superfluous to tell you that value of silver is like silver. But if I don't have a verse, I don't know this. Now, before I continue, I want to ask you guys a question. What do you understand? In your simple understanding, what's the value or what, I would say, what good points you will give to silver and what good points you will give to the value of silver. So simply, I would say silver has the most points. Why? Because silver has the ability to buy to succeed from it, any pleasure I want. As Shlomo says, Kesef Yanet Hakol, silver will make everybody talk, everybody answer. One second. So silver, Kesef, has the ability, money, has the ability to move everything, which means I'm not stuck to one thing. I'm a free man. I can choose what I want. Yes, but value of kesef, copper. If I need copper and I want copper, I want. Give me shoes. Give me a cigarette. If I want a cigarette, the value of pruto, the value is okay. If I want it, and I exactly specifically want cigarette, it's okay. But if I don't want cigarettes, I want shoes, and giving me cigarettes, then I have to exert myself to search who has shoes, and that person has shoes that wants cigarettes, and I can trade it with him. So you bring me back down, very down, that if I don't want that pleasure, it's very hard for me to trade it. Kesef, although kesef is not the minus, the down point of silver, that is not pleasure itself. It's just means to, but it's a very good means to. You can choose what you want. It's a trading means to, but the pleasure itself is a pleasure itself. But if I don't want it, it's very hard for me to get rid of it. Yes. So if you ask me, my friend Rabbi, if you ask me, if the Torah says silver, Kesef, those days they trade with pieces of silver. There was a weight. They cut and saw, they had a machine or something, the way they cut the silver to a piece. It was a piece of silver cut that people knew it came from Tzor. It was a reliable cut, different sizes.
Just silver.
Right, but silver is not your goal. You're not going to eat silver. You're not going to put on your clothes silver. Silver is means too. But shve kesef, the value of kesef is the things itself. One second. I want to go. So we said, yes, what do you want to say, Alan? Who doesn't want kesef? Do you know somebody that doesn't want money? In the middle of the ocean, you choose cash or shoes, Cash, because I can buy shoes, I can buy this, buy food. I'm saying shve kesef is a specific pleasure that if I want it exactly right now, it's good, but if I don't want it, I'm stuck with it. But silver has the ability to buy you to get you to everything is. Okay? But if you put right, she died with her money, with all the silver and money, there's no value, right? There was a guy named in Colombia. His name was, we got his very famous mafia guy. Pablos. He died with piles of billions of dollars of cash and nothing what to eat. I know he had to heat up the heat from with dollars to burn dollars. It's true. It was cold. You had to use the dollars to burn them, make fire. His daughter to make heat. Until today, they go to his houses. He had different houses, different mountains, and they dig and they find money there. Really, piles of cash. Some Michiganer found a big pile of cash and gave it to the government. Michiganer should have taken the money for himself, right? What? Good Samaritan. Okay. We call it honest dope.
But the Jewish couple, they buy a house, and then right now, like a few years ago, they find like $200,000 in the house that they buy. There was a religious couple, and they give it back to the
Original owner. Okay. My uncle told me that there's this guy that put in $40 million in boxes in his house, and he died. And he knows how to get it. It's in America, and my uncle's here in Israel. And the son is begging him, come to America. He said, I don't travel anymore. He's old, he's almost 90, he doesn't want to travel anymore. He said, I don't want to travel. Finish. He says, come. He's going to rip the whole house down to find the money. He can't find the money. Cannot find the money. Cannot find the money.
I had a friend of my father.
Yes.
In a town close to New York State,
Okay.
and he bought a house that had a big place where the boats used to come in,
Yes.
in old times.
Yes.
And the Rebbe knew about it, because I told him about it. He said, you know why he's always digging in the basement? You know why he digs in the basement? I just have to tell the story. He's always digging in the basement, and he's like a eccentric guy. He had this little mansion on the ocean with a place where the big boats used to come in, the ship would come in. And he was digging all the time. He said, that's because in that area, there's stories and maps that the pirates came and they left all this treasure. And he's always digging in the basement and everywhere all over the place. He's always looking for the treasure. He never found the treasure. His name was Hughes, William Hughes. He's a friend of my father.
Yes.
He's always digging in the basement and everything. Very eccentric, very weird. Always digging around in it. And he never found any.
Imagination. There used to be those sayings also in Mount Zion. The Arabs left here a lot of silver, gold, and one guy found, yes, one of the workers of the yeshiva in the 1970s found a big box full of golden coins, and he ran away to Jordan, became a very wealthy man. The pharaohs. Yes. Anyhow. Yes. All day long digging. Okay. Good. Imagination. Nim toima. So let's go back to the question of Tosfot. 1 second, Reb Chaim, I heard you, and I'm not laying this because I want to get to the point. I want to people back to the point which we're dealing with. Toisa's question is, Nim toima uminolon de shve kesef kesef. How do we know, Taki? The Mishnah says, Pruto means the quantity, Shve means Shve Kesef. But how do we know that? How do we know that Shve Kesef? And Tosis quote that we see later on by Eved Ivri, that we need a verse to teach you, Yoshiv, that Shve Kesef, which means you need a verse. Without a verse, I won't know it. The question is, why? Tosis needs to bring a proof that we need a verse. Without the proof, I want to ask the same question. Kesef is ability to buy anything I want. Shve Kesef, I'm stuck with a specific thing. So if I put you, if the Torah would say Kesef, I will make a mistake to say only Kesef, not Shve Kesef. That's the whole point. So why it's called a mistake? Without the Mishnah telling me Shve Kesef, the Torah says I'll make a mistake that only Kesef, not Shve Kesef. That's not a mistake. That's a simple svara, a true svara. And Tosfot actually says, who told you maybe only Kesef, not Shve Kesef? We see in a verse, but without a proof that I need a verse by Eved Ivri, it seems to me from Tosfot that Tosfot is not so clear to him that the svara should be only Kesef, not Shve Kesef. Maybe it's only a mistake. And the simple svara is that Shve Kesef get Kesef. And you need a proof. How do I know? They says we know law, and then how do I know Shve Kesef? The whole behold, later on we say the Torah requires a verse. To tell you that the value of Kesef, silver is like Kesef. So I need a verse. Without a verse, I won't know it. Why this has to bring a proof that from Eved Ivri I need a verse must be without the Svor Chitzoino is not so. I don't have to come to Svor Chitzoino from that Raya. Without a Raya, Svor Pshuto. Simple Svor. That Kesef has the ability to buy anything you want. And Shve Kesef, you're stuck with it. But on the other hand, Shve Kesef is the pleasure, is the goal. And Kesef just means. So although Kesef is means, but has the ability to mean any pleasure you want, and Shve Kesef is only specific pleasure, but this is pleasure, this means. So Vadai means is equal should be to, Vadai, the pleasure itself should be equal to the means. And that's why it takes us to bring a proof that we see we need a verse for it. Without a verse, I won't know it. Okay. There's something that we need to investigate. What? Upidyon aben, this is continues. Upidyon aben, dechsiv bei kesef. And pidyon aben, that it says the word kesef. Chamisha shkolim kesef. When you redeem your firstborn son after 30 days, you give the kohen chamisha sloim kesef. 5 selah, which is made out of silver. Come on, and the Gemara later on page 8, Tafchet Amudal, the Gemara says, the Rav Kahana shokal sudro b'pinyon haben. Rav Kahana took Saif. Sudro is a Saif. Saif is a scarf. He took a scarf as a payment of Pinyon because Rav Kahana was a Kohen. Kahana, Kohen. Kohen, Kahana. Rav Kahana was a Kohen. Rabbi Kahana, Rabbi Kohanim. Rabbi Kahana was a Kohen. He received a sudar, a scarf, for the sake of redemption of the baby. Even though a scarf is not money, it's not silver. It's value of silver. Value of Chamisha Shkolim Kesef. So what do we see? That Rav Kahana understood that although it says the word Kesef, Shvei Kesef is the same. How does he know that? Uminolo the Shvei Kesef. How Rav Kahana knew that that the value of silver is like silver. We see by Evediv, we need a verse. Must be without a verse, I don't know it. So Kiddushin and Pidyon Haben, the question is, how do we know that Shvei Kesef Kesef without a verse? How do we have this Masorah from? Shieski is Rabbi. How do we know it from? Okay, so he's asking, where's it from? Is it from Mount Sinai? Is it limud? Is it understanding? Is it svara? What is it? A lot of options here. Umihu. Umihu miau. Mihu. Umihu, however, the Perikah in the Shavuos, in the first chapter of Tractate Shavuos, Daf Daled Amud Beis, Dorish klal upratu klal. If you look at Maseches Shavuos, there the Gemara learns out klal upratu klal. What is klal upratu klal? Klal upratu klal means a general, a particular, and a general. There are 13 attributes. When you have a klal and a prat, and baklal and prat. When you have a general rule, then the Torah talks about specific details. So essential. So the rule is, it's nothing. You have nothing in the prat that comes after the klal comes to memayit. And baklal and the klal is only what's in the detail. But when you have klal and prat, the Torah goes again and says a klal that tells you klal and klal batu klal and baklal and prat ke'ena prat. Like the prat, the rules that it defines the rule like the prat, which means not only the prat, like the prat. What is like the prat? Same way the prat is money. So gufay mamon, money is the body of money is money. It's silver. So it has to be gufa mamon and mitaltel the gufa mamon. Anything which is ain't gufa mamon, that the body itself is not money, and it's movable things, you cannot redeem. You cannot redeem a baby with it. So since we have klal upratu klal, to tell you that even value of money is like money. Aval gabe echin, but in echin, what is echin? Echin is if a person says, my value, I'm going to give to the temple. Yes. Klal upratu klal. So from there we learn, Kein הפרט, מה הפרדו של גוף המומוין? מיטלטל לגוף המומוין? יוצאו שטורויס to exclude documents, avodim, slaves, right? Right. Shtoros, metaltelim, she'en guf moment that the thing is not of money. Aval gabe erchin, but by erchin was erchin. Erchin means if somebody says my value. So then depends what age he is. 5 years old. The Torah gave us a ladder of values of how much a person is worth. If he says my worth to the temple, depends. You check his age. And according to his age, you look in the map of the Torah, it tells you. Until 5 years old is chamisha shkolim kesef. From 5 to 20 years old is this amount of it. From 20 till 60 is this amount. From 60 onwards, it goes down. A woman, a girl, goes in details. Goes in details. So there he says, by erchin, if a person says my value, dechsiv bei kesef says the word Kesef, silver, he has to give amount of silver of his value to the temple. The egdish nami, and sanctity also. Somebody says, I want to sanctify my animal. I want to sanctify my table to the temple. The Tanan says in the Mishnah, Echin, Gabe Amagdi said that you want to sanctify his field. You can redeem the hegdish, the sanctity he gave God, with silver and value of silver. The question comes back, how do we know that the value of silver is like silver? As we see that by Eved Ivri you need a verse, means anywhere else without a verse, how do I know? I don't know Kiddushin, I don't know Pina Ben is a klal particular. But how do I know Erchin and Hegdish? That there we know value of money, of silver is like silver. How do we know? We see by Eved Ivri, you need a verse. Umi, however, Be'egdeishois, by sanctity, Nami is also possible, the Darshin and Klal, Patu Klal. Although we didn't find the Klal Patu Klal by Hegdish, but we see that has the same rules of Klal Patu Klal. Though behold, in English, nifta bekaka. You don't redeem Egdish by kaka. The Klal Patu Klal says has to be dovar mitaltel v'gufo moed, movable things and money itself. But land and documents is not money itself, and land is not movable things. By pidyon ben, also saying by Egdish. In Egdish nifta bekaka, you don't redeem sanctity with land. Kedavinu be'azor. Like the Gemara says in Mometzia, you don't redeem Hegdish on land, which means if I sanctify my animal, can I tell the Hegdish, the temple says, I'm giving you land in exchange, and I want to redeem. Or you go to the Gizba, you go to the one who charged in the temple, and when you redeem the gold, the silver you gave, or you donate it to the temple, you want to redeem it with land. You can't. You cannot redeem with land. You don't mechalel, you don't redeem the sanctity through land. The Torah says you give money to the temple and then you can buy the land. Let's say somebody says, my house belongs to Hashem. You cannot redeem your house with another house. You have to give money. Money. The Beis Hamikdash only trusts money. Not joking. Says, come, it's a puzzle. Says, give the money in the Zalo. So there we see, and also page 5 it says, Lama? Okay. Wazav legamre? Ma? Wazav את הישיבה. בסדר? Good. Baruch Hashem. Later on, page 5, Amud Aleph, the Gemara says, the end point in Egdesh or Meiser Sheni B'Shtar. You don't redeem sanctity in Meiser Sheni with a document. So you see that Hegdesh has the same rules of the Klal Patu Klal. The Patu Klal, the Klal Patu Klal says only something which is movable and it's money itself. Land and documents are out. And that refers to Pinyan Aben, and Tosfot says probably includes also, that Klal Patu Klal includes also Hegdesh. Because you see Hegdesh has the same rules, the same prohibitions as Pinyan Aben. By Klal Patu Klal, Pinyan Aben says you cannot redeem Pinyan Aben only with movable things, and the thing itself is worth. But documents or land, you cannot do Pinyan Aben. And also by Hegdesh, although the Klal Patu Klal doesn't refer directly to Hegdesh, or to Pinyan Aben, but we assume that it goes also to Hegdesh. Why? Because we see by Hegdesh as the same prohibitions. You cannot redeem Hegdesh by land, you cannot redeem Hegdesh with documents. So it must be the Klal Patu Klal goes also on Hegdesh, not only on Pinyan Aben. So, okay, so we have by Evedivri a verse, we have by Hegdesh Pinyan Aben, we have a verse, Aval Gabe Kiddushin ve'erchin. Kiddushin by our Maseches and erchin. Somebody says, my value. It says there the word Kesef. Since we don't have a verse, we don't have a superfluous word, a verse that teach you that value of money is like money, value of silver is like silver. How do I know? Not only that, how do I know? The common sense should not be so. Common sense, money is potential for all means. And the thing itself, pleasure itself, is you're stuck with it. So I need a verse for it. Without a verse, I don't know. And since Kiddushin and then there's no verse, how do I know that value of money is like money? Shouldn't be so. Should be only money and not shvekes, because shvekes was less. There's less points of value in people's eyes. Money is means to anything you want, and shvekes and the value of kesef, silver is only with specific value. So how do I know that? Yes, what do you want to say? Hegdesh is isurim. No, Hegdesh is you put it, you give it, you donate it, you give your ownership of your value to Hashem. Money. You give ownership of your money to the Beis Hamikdash, Hashem. Even how the holiness comes, I give my value. I donate my land to Hashem, donate my money, my silver, my belonging to Hashem. Email is Kodesh. Hashem owns it as Kodesh. No, it's money. No, I'm talking about money. Money, ownership of Beis Hamikdash. So Tosfos answers, V'yeshloimar de'alfina me'evedivri. Tosfos says, you know how do I know? I know from Evedivri. How long Kiddushin? Pinyan Aben and Hegdesh is a Klal Patu Klal. Eved is a pasuk. Yoshua Rabbi Kesef. I don't know Kiddushin and erchin. I learned from Evedivri. Same way Evedivri, the Torah says Yoshua B'Chul. The word Yoshua Rabbi Kesef, also by Kiddushin and erchin, we learn that Shvei Kesef. What? Okay, this is not clear. We have a lot of pirushim here. The simple pirush is, the simple way of reading it, it's a limud. Binyan av matzinu. You heard this, Yonatan? What is binyan av matzinu? No, binyan av matzinu. Saying we found the Lord here, this teaches me also by Kiddushin v'Kesef. The simple, when it says Yalfinon, means is Bame Matzinu. We found here, also here means. But the Bnei Yehoshua learns it's not a real limud. It's only a gilui of Pirush HaMilim. It's only a revelation, the explanation of the words. When the Torah said Kesef, doesn't mean specifically silver, it means the value of the silver. What? once we have Yoshi by Eved Ivri, that the word, when it says Kesef Yashiv Gulato, with this money will bring back his redemption. The word Yashiv that tells you not only Kesef Yashiv means not only Kesef, means other things. And so it's a limud from Eved Ivri, or it's a Gilui Pirush Milah. The Pnei Yeshua learned, we have to see this next day or two, the Pnei Yeshua learns is a Gilui of Pirush HaMilim. But the simple words of Tosfos means a limud b'matzino. We found also here. So we learn another, not only kesef, we learn a limud, one of the 13 attributes of b'matzino, one of the 13 midos of the 10 reshos, same way by Eved Ivri, also by Kiddushin, and also by Erchin. There's a big enough kamina if it's a gilui or it's a limud. If it's a limud, so when we learn by Matzino, I can make chilukim. Eved Ivri is special. Kiddushin is different, right? Erchin is different. If I make chilukim, I cannot learn one from another. When I can transfer laws from one law to the other, I found here law. I said also here we're not doime. When we're not doime, not similar. I cannot do the limud anymore, right? The Marsho attacks Tosfos. How can you learn from the Marsho and the Rashash? You guys should have time. After I finish the class, look at the Marsho and the Rashash. The Rashash and the Marsho attack Tosfos. How can you learn from Eved Ivri? And Ivri caused himself. He brought the problems on himself. Or Eved Ivri, you don't want him to be stuck with a goy. His master is a goy. You want to get rid of the goy master, so we permit him in value of kesef. But by Kiddushin and Echnu says the Torah will be lenient for kesef, also shvei kesef. That's the kasha of Marsho, Uken Rashash. If it's a real limud, if I have some kind of chiluk, so there's no limud anymore. So they attack, there's chilukim, give answers back and forth. And they were sure, the Pnei Yeshua says, no. It's not only alfinan and b'matzinu. It's limud of pirush hamilos. It's a gilui. What does it mean, kesef? When the Torah wrote kesef, what they meant with the word kesef? When the Torah says, "Lo tevashel gdi b'chalevimo," don't cook gdi, means a goat with the milk of his mother. And it means only goat, or means meat. So the Gemara goes on and chulin to show you that the word gdi doesn't mean specific goat. It means meat. Animals meat, wild animals meat. What about chicken? Chickenat? Yeah. That's a discussion. So there, it's a limon in the Perush Hamila. But it's not a limon of Bameh Matzinu. If it's only a limon of a Perush Hamila, you can ask, Eved Ivri is not doing it to Kiddushin. Eved Ivri a specific thing, Nezikim a specific thing. No. There's one of those problems, because it's not a real limud, it's only Milu the Pirush Hamila. You also gain a big nafkamina. Second thing I want to add of the Pnei Yeshua, because Tosfos said we want to learn Kiddushin and Erchin. I understand I can learn Erchin from Eved Ivri, but Kiddushin, there's a pasuk kiikach. It's not only just a kinyan of kesef, it's also kich of kesef. You don't fully understand what I'm saying now. You have to learn Birkas Shmuel. What is the concept of kicha? Kinyan kicha. Birkas Shmuel says kicha. There's a kinyan kicha. So how can you learn kicha from Eved Ivri? If it's kinyan kesef, I learn kinyan from kinyan. Eved Ivri, I do a kinyan kesef. Kiddushin kinyan kesef. But Kiddushin is something plus. Kiddushin is not just a kinyan. It's kicha. So how can I learn one from another? But if it's only a gilu, it's okay. What? True, but it's not a normal kinyan. It's different. Anyhow, the point is that there's two pirushim here, and look at the Marsho here, and Manyana will continue. Yes, I'm listening to you. I don't want to hear now. Yes, go ahead. What's your other possibility? Yes. But it's not only, but it's not true. Because we're not only learning Kiddushin, we learn Kiddushin and Erchin. Erchin too. Erchin is not security. Tosfot says there are two things that don't have a verse. Kiddushin and Erchin. And where do we learn it from Eved Ivri? Something else you want to say? Okay, we'll talk afterwards.